Every single one of us creates our environment, from the newborn babies to those in retirement. And each and every one between, of all colors and all ages, every word, every act inscribed on these pages. Some live to inspire, and some live for their wages. But to introduce this man, let me just say this. As the mayor, he doesn't watch our city from the stands, a key player. And God put the city in his hands. And sometimes he's got to carry the city on his back. And like those train cars, keep the city on the tracks. But to carry the load and put the city on the map, that's up to all of us, not just the city and its staff. Made in Abbotsford, this is the air that I breathe, the water that I drink, the care that I need. Made in Abbotsford, we are the light that runs through it. The light at the end, we might just come to it. Made in Abbotsford, that's you, that's me, that's us. That's facing every struggle with integrity and trust. Made in Abbotsford, when something is broken, we will repair. Now let me introduce to you our own Honorable Mayor.
Well, good morning, and thank you for coming. It's great to see everybody out this morning at this early hour. And thank you to Saint Soldier for such a great introduction through the power of the spoken word. Saint Soldier has a real heart for our young people in this city to keep them away from drugs and gangs, and I've gotten to know him over the last number of years, and I think he's just great. I also want to thank White Table Catering for the excellent Made in Abbotsford cuisine this morning. So let me begin with a question. Speaking about the Made in Abbotsford breakfast, do you see the connection in this room? Yes, all of these are also made in Abbotsford. We're steeped in a rich Made in Abbotsford tradition, from the lumber mill of the Trethewey family to the Claiborne family bricks, from today's greenhouses to transportation and so much more. They're all made in Abbotsford. When most people outside of our city think of Abbotsford, they rightly think of agriculture. After all, we have the most productive agricultural lands in all of Canada. We produce 3 times more per hectare, per acre, than the number 2 producing region, which is Niagara. Did you know that our farm gate receipts rose from $650 million in 2011 to $853 million in 2016. That's a 33% increase in 5 years. That's impressive. But what's made in Abbotsford goes far beyond agricultural products. It includes people. We respond to the needs of our community by supporting immigrants, fostering mental health for youth, literacy programs, food bank and lunches for children, to name just a few. And what's more, I was made in Abbotsford. I was born in Paraguay, but I immigrated at 3 years of age, and I consider myself an Abbotsford boy. I attended school here. I met my wife here, and by the way, I'm delighted that both Velma and my mother Margaret are here with us this morning. This is where we raised our family. This is where I began my railway transit construction career. This is where I began real estate development. This is where I began ranching and agriculture. This is where I became involved in local government. Building and growing is my common denominator. Our community too is growing, and I've seen a lot of change over the last 63 years. People are choosing to live and work affordably. They want access to green space, room to grow and to live and to play. We have a young and diverse workforce. The highest demographic is in the 20 to 29-year age group. The city is experiencing significant growth. The Conference Board of Canada says the census metropolitan area of Abbotsford Mission is number 2 in economic growth across Canada this year at 2.5%. And we need to grasp the opportunities that this economic growth brings. We need to have a plan for the intentional growth and development of our community. A plan made in Abbotsford and made for Abbotsford. And that's where this council started in 2014. Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said this: you need to begin with an end in mind. Let me just repeat that again. You need to begin with an end in mind. Our first focus as council this term was to create a 2015-2018 strategic plan to envision our future. As I often hear from members of our faith communities, where there is no vision, the people perish. So what is our vision? It is Abbotsford as the hub of the Fraser Valley. What does that actually look like? Well, we're a center, a focal point in the Fraser Valley, a destination for jobs and businesses. We're attractive to business investment. We have some great entertainment, and we've doubled the number of performances at the Abbotsford Centre in the last 4 years. And beginning in May of next year, we're going to add to that with the Elite Basketball League starting to play out of there in May, between May and August of next year. We have services like the new hospital and cancer center, a new $150 million courthouse, our international airport, and the aerospace cluster at YXX, and of course our University of the Fraser Valley. As a hub, we connect and we're connected. Physically, we have via roads and transit. We have 3 railroads running through our community, sidewalks and bike lanes. Well, not quite there where we want to be, but we're working on that. And of course, trails and parks, just to name a few. As a hub, we connect socially, and we do this through thriving public spaces, arts, heritage, culture, and we celebrate our cultural diversity. We've expanded our sport and fitness facilities. We have engaged residents, and we're creating healthy and vibrant and distinct neighborhoods. We're connected to the environment. We see the importance of natural beauty. We support stewardship. There's a recent key example. Metro Vancouver Parks, we've been part of Metro Vancouver for over 50 years. We are now transferring the land to Abbotsford. The eastern portion of Glen Valley, Matsqui Trail, Sumas Mountain, both east and west flanks, and of course Aldergrove Park. There's many benefits to this. One of them is which we don't have to send just under $1 million a year to Metro Parks. We can invest that in our own parks. But there's an added benefit. We can, one positive additional benefit that will come out of that or outcome is the creation of a boat launch on the Fraser River. We don't have one currently, and Metro Vancouver wasn't too interested in funding one, so we can do that ourselves now. This vision as a hub of the Fraser Valley is supported by 4 cornerstones. The first 2, fiscal discipline and organizational alignment. And we have made good progress during this term. And these 2 have to be in place for the other 2 to even exist. And they are a vibrant economy and a complete community. Both of these are really focusing on quality of life. The strategic plan is a result of council and staff working together towards our shared vision. And I am grateful for the contribution of council and each staff member. And I want to thank council, and I'm going to introduce them in alphabetical order, and I'd ask you to stand until you've all been introduced. Councillors Les Barkman, Sandy Blue, Kelly Shahal, Brenda Falk, Mo Gill, Dave Lowen, Patricia Ross, and Ross Siemens. This is your council, and it's been a privilege to work with them. And we have, in my view, made great progress over the last 3.5 years. From my perspective, we have especially focused on getting our house in order, becoming organizationally aligned. We have also made good progress in terms of fiscal discipline. The slide behind you, you saw last year, but you can see that we've added to the net financial position of the city. In 2011, we were $17 million in the red, and we finished the year off, I think it's just $193 million. But there is still other work that we have to do, such as refining internal processes at the city. Speaking of internal processes, from time to time I hear a few comments that we approve most things that come before council, implying that we're rubber stamping. But it's not rubber stamping. Rather, the council reports that come before us are aligned with our strategic plan and the 4 cornerstones. So why would we disagree? It's what we asked our staff to do. We have a plan for the way forward, and that plan is called the OCP, or the Official Community Plan. It's about how we will grow from 140,000 people to 200,000 people, and we're already at 145,000 right now. And what our city will look like when we get there. Abbotsford 20 to 25 years from now will be a denser city. Development focusing upward and inward, protecting our agricultural lands. There will be a distinct city center and many other neighborhoods. We're currently working on 4, with more to come. There will be, we will be a community that is connected by transit, transportation routes, sidewalks, cycling, trails, and vibrant public spaces. The next step to building this foundation is Plan 200K, a collection of plans and projects to shape our community. It makes the OCP come to life. We're zooming in from 40,000 feet down to life at the street level. This will embrace transit, transportation, affordable housing, new parks and programming, commercial areas, industrial land, drinking water, sewer pipes, public art, and so much more. But Plan 200K doesn't come without its challenges. We were recently disappointed by the ALC's denial of our ALR application. So let me ask you this: where are the next 60,000 people that are coming to our community going to work? 65% currently do, and that's an exceptionally high number for the region, and we want to keep it growing. Having our land use policies in place provides predictability, repeatability, and certainty for developers, businesses, and residents who want to invest in our community. It helps the city to plan and budget for future services. Plan 200K has 20 aspects to it. I'm told that something of this scope has never been done or undertaken before in Canada, the scope of what we're doing all at once. This far-reaching initiative currently consists of 9 master plans, 4 neighborhood plans including the University District, the historic downtown Abbotsford, the city center, and McKee, plus 7 other studies. Collectively, these inform us of what is needed over the next 25 years. They give us a long-range lens for financial planning in order to provide for the needs of a population of 200,000 people. So it's critical to have our financial house in order to achieve these needs. I expect that the final drafts will be ready for public consultation by June, July of this year. So taken together, these 3 initiatives, the strategic plan, the OCP, and Plan 200K, work together to establish the foundation. As a builder, I know that if the foundation isn't strong, then cracks will appear in the structure as things progress. Perhaps all of this planning might not be the most exciting part of building, but whether we realize it or not, it is the most crucial part of the building. It provides longevity, focus, direction, and stability. And we're already starting this building. Did you know that there was a record amount of industrial space approved in 2017 now under construction? And just driving in, I couldn't help but notice Main Coatings, which is one of the largest industrial buildings being built right now. The tilt-up concrete has been going up since a couple days ago. This translates into 1,100 potential jobs in the community using the formula of 1 employee per 500 square feet of building. Mount Lehman Road north of the Auto Mall. This is one of the largest industrial development proposals in the Lower Mainland, comprising of 140 acres. And you'll hear more about that in the next number of months. This will result in several thousand new jobs for the city. We've seen an increase in total construction value. We hit the highest amount ever on record in 2017 at $480 million. We've had record residential applications, and this trend is continuing. Mahogany Tower is the tallest residential building between Surrey and Calgary, and it recently reached its top height of 26 stories. We've seen a significant number of multifamily rental units popping up across the city, addressing the city's 0.2% vacancy rate, which is one of the lowest in Canada, and providing affordability for residents. We've streamlined our development processes to become more efficient. We have development inquiry meetings where all of the stakeholders are in the room to discuss everything from the onset and prevent surprises down the line, or the changing of the goalposts, as I sometimes refer to it. This is only possible if we're organizationally aligned. Another initiative that I'm excited about has been a pilot project for tenant improvement permits issued on-site by our building inspectors. So you'll no longer have to wait for 30 to 60 days. I understand the test project was very successful, and it is now being rolled out. These are just 2 of 100 plus process improvement initiatives that we've seen. A central tenet for me as the mayor is that everyone is treated the same. And that means everyone is given special treatment. So when everyone is treated equally, economic development occurs naturally. It makes the city even more business friendly. While we roll out the red carpet to attract new businesses, we don't do this to the exclusion of any existing business. I see it as vitally important to support our established businesses. Why? Because 80% of employment growth will come from existing businesses in our city. A great example of this support is the two existing businesses is via the business walks. This involves elected officials at all 3 levels of government, together with members of the Chamber of Commerce and the Abbotsford Downtown Business Association. As we walk from business to business, we take the temperature of the community through 5 key questions, and they're the same questions every year so that we have a baseline and can measure whether we're gaining or treading water. When we get a sense of the challenges that businesses are facing and how we might help them. Another major aspect of Abbotsford as a regional hub is, of course, our airport. It offers convenience, low cost, increased choices for carriers like the new Swoop Airlines that will be landing here in June of this year, well, next month. And we have new destinations, and we're growing. We've had record passenger volumes in the last 2 years, and we are one of the fastest growing airports in Canada on a percentage basis. A plan to double the seating capacity in the hold area is in progress right now, as well as adding 2 new gates to exceed or to get us to the next level, which is 800,000 plus passengers. YXX is also an asset for other reasons. The air show, the aerospace defense exhibition, the Girls Fly 2 event, and YXX supports a strong aviation aerospace sector, skills training and manufacturing. And there are other important projects helping Abbotsford to grow as the hub. The Provincial Courthouse I mentioned with Supreme Court rooms will see construction starting this year and with estimated completion in 2021. Our new transit maintenance facility should be operating by late next year on Gladys Avenue. The efficient movement of goods, people, and services is vital to making a hub really work. And on that note, we have several key transportation projects breaking ground. The widening of Mount Lehman Road to the airport, you may have seen that some of the clearing in the right-of-way has already taken place. Marshall Road Connector is currently under construction. The Vi Road Highway 11 project will begin I'm told, in January of 2019. The Fraser Highway widening at all of the major intersections. It's maybe going to get a little messy for a while, but just think of the difference that this $60 million worth of road infrastructure investment from all three levels of government will make long term. And I want to thank, and much of this is thanks to the support of our MLAs and the Honorable Speaker of the Legislature, Daryl Plecas, is here this morning, Mike Dion and Simon Gibson. I had some notes from our MPs who are currently in Ottawa, but I want to reference them as well. MPs Jetty Sidhu, Ed Fast, and Mark Warwa. Thank you to all six of them. A lot of this would not have happened had it not been for their efforts. So thank you very much for helping us. I continue to advocate, and we as a council continue to advocate with the province for Highway 1 widening and interchange improvements. There is an enormous cost to our economy of Highway 1 as a parking lot rather than a freeway. Another project is the Salton Road pedestrian bridge, a safe pedestrian cycling bridge connection linking Abbotsford north and south of Highway 1 to the University District. As part of our focus on a complete community which encompasses quality of life, I believe that art, culture, and heritage play a vital role in Abbotsford. They create a sense of place, belonging, understanding, social connections, the joy of being in a thriving community. This year, the Reach Gallery Museum celebrates its 10th anniversary with a special fundraiser on September 15th. If you don't have it in your calendars, mark that date. It develops and delivers excellent art and heritage programming for all ages throughout the year, helping us to connect to each other and to our heritage. Velma and I enjoy going to each new exhibit. I love meeting up and coming artists and seeing their work in the Reaches community art space. I also enjoy meeting members of the Abbotsford Arts Council as they support local artists. And I'm a keen supporter of Heritage Abbotsford's Trethewey House, where the original Trethewey family lived. Many young visitors there today become so-called agents of discovery as they learn about local history using modern technology, a treasure trail using cell phones. Another important part of our heritage, which will be well worth a visit, is Turner House. I'm told that this is the oldest house in Abbotsford. It dates back to the late 1800s. And it will be relocated to Claiborne Park, and we're going to do some improvements to Claiborne Park. So the condition of this house, when I went through it, I was amazed for a house that's 140 years old. Even had the original piano in it. I'd like to mention another gem in our community, Ledgeview Golf and Country Club. With plans to rebuild the clubhouse, it will be an excellent destination for Abbotsford residents and visitors alike. We have a community benefits agreement with Kinder Morgan that will assist in that. And we're all aware of the political issues connected to the Trans Mountain Pipeline. The current dialogue, in my view, is not helpful and is creating a crisis of investment not only in this province but across our country. The city has a strong working relationship with Kinder Morgan, and we look forward to a resolution in the very near future. Now, because we've seen so much development activity, I do get emails from time to time from people asking about trees being removed. And I'm happy to say that we require all developers to replace trees on a 3-to-1 ratio. Because of space limits, obviously if you take a 2-acre site and has trees and you remove it and put a building on it, you can't replace all of the trees. So often these new trees are planted elsewhere in the community. So over time, although we do lose our tree canopy from time to time because of developments, over time our tree canopy eventually will increase. Remaining on environmental issues, I'm also committed to increasing our waste diversion through effective recycling programs. I'll be the first to acknowledge that there are some short-term challenges to this while we transition to trucks that collect 3 streams instead of the current 1. And I'd like for Abbotsford's recycling to not be plagued by contamination issues and just ending up in a landfill. On to community safety. 2017 was a difficult year for fighting crime and gangs. The underlying problem is the drug use epidemic in this and many other communities across our region, province, and indeed our country. Much of the gang violence is based on fighting for market share to sell drugs. According to the APD, the vast majority of break-ins are committed by people who are addicted. And we are responding to crime. APD's new crime or gang crime unit makes it difficult for gang members to work in our community. The drug enforcement unit is targeting gangs selling fentanyl-laced drugs. Recently, the APD ran a property crime project and is beginning to see a downturn in the offenses. We've added 6 new firefighters and 5 new police officers to enhance safety within our community. Of course, there's a toll on our first responders in witnessing critical incidents. The things they see today are not the same as a decade or 2 ago, and we must be careful not to break them over their career. A complete community is vigilant, and everyone must do their part to reduce crime. And I'm always amazed when I read or get reports from the police of devices, purses, wallets, cell phones, laptops, clothes, left in plain view in a car, sometimes unlocked. Another critical social issue is homelessness. We have done a lot of work to address this very complex problem, but there's more to do. As a city, we are actually leading the way to find solutions from prevention to intervention. We're working very closely with Fraser Health, BC Housing, community service organizations, and our faith communities. Hearthstone and Riverside shelters are open, they're full, and there was a recent announcement from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing adding 83 units for those facing homelessness and connecting them with the support they need. And we are thankful for that $3 million investment by the province. We've created the Homelessness Prevention and Response System to help provide appropriate housing and wraparound support services. Housing with Abbotsford Rental Connect links landlords and tenants and fosters their relationship and provides community integration for tenants. We also have an affordable housing strategy. On to the topic of AgriFresh, which many of you will have heard about over the last 12 to 18 months. This is a modernization and reinforcing the significance of our agricultural industry and the land base that supports it. Council recently put this on pause because of the appointment of the Minister of Agriculture's Advisory Committee. We don't want to proceed any further until we know the outcome of their report to the province to avoid having to revise or reverse our bylaws. We don't want to do this twice. So we hope to know that by the fall of this year. We're fostering innovation elsewhere. Recently, Elevate Forum 2 at the UFB brought together innovative leaders together from a variety of sectors to inspire fresh, outside-of-the-box thinking. More innovation comes through City Studio partnership of the city and the University of the Fraser Valley. It involves students in developing real solutions to real-life municipal challenges. And 2 that struck a chord with me were 1, reducing litter in your neighborhood, and the second was getting to know your neighbor. Both of these can be replicated and expanded at a wider community level, and I'm looking forward to what the next phase will look like. Council understands the critical role of this kind of community education and engagement. We're committed to being transparent and accountable to our residents. Technology and innovation is making this easier, and we're utilizing opportunities. Did you know that your hotline to the City of Abbotsford is right here in this smart device? With the new City app, you're in touch, or you're just a touch away, and now I have to put it back, to find trails, recreational programs, report a pothole or treat, snap a picture, send it to us, we get a GPS location, we don't have to send people out to look at it to make sure it's actually real. We have the data, and you'll get a file message that says this file has been opened, and you'll get a progression through the work plan until it's closed. You can keep socially connected on the community calendar, garbage collection reminders, and so many other things. So if you are not familiar with it, I invite you to go to our website and download that app. It's a tremendous tool. This allows for better customer service and allows you to share your ideas and concerns with us. And it's throughout our planning processes that feedback has been so important. We have conducted online surveys, open houses, featured speakers on topics related to the plans, conducted stakeholder meetings. We've had unprecedented interaction. And we need to work together to create this hub. This is your city. When we talk about building community, these are just some of the ways that we are building the hub of the Fraser Valley. Of course, this isn't without growing pains. After all, 3 historical entities merged to become what is today the City of Abbotsford in 1995, and that brought challenges with it. I am very proud, in the right sense of that word, of all that has been accomplished these almost 4 years. And I'm not just the only one noticing the changes in efforts. Since 2014, the city has received 18 different awards and recognitions. But really, our work has just begun, and there is so much more around the corner. Looking out of my 5th floor office window, I see busy streets, residential buildings going up, thriving businesses, an art gallery and museum, busy shops and restaurants, places of worship. And although I can't see them, there's the courthouse. I'll be able to see the new one. School district offices, Abbotsford Fire and Rescue Services, APD just around the corner. I also see green spaces and the boundary between the city and our agricultural lands and the beautiful mountains of the West Coast. We live in a great place. I love this city, which is why I've lived here for 63 years. But as with the video you'll be seeing soon, I love to imagine what this city is going to look like in the future. I love to imagine how it can be even better based on the solid grounding that we have worked at providing. Building is exciting, especially if it's made in Abbotsford. I'll close by sharing a heartfelt wish that I carry with me every day to work. I dearly want to see Abbotsford as being the city that all others are inspired by and aspire to be. Thank you very much for coming today.